Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And Master Chief will be perfect when his corpse fits a woman.
I told you people, I told you that at the end of the show they kill him and make him a woman.
Spoilers! So we're gonna talk about this. There are some spoilers here. Not that anybody gives a shit about the show anymore. Halo TV is an unmitigated disaster. We've got one of the co-creators of the game coming out and being like, this is not the Halo I made. And then we'll talk about that unsurprising plot twist at the end of the first season. I mean, this is a show so bad that the showrunners have already quit.
But they quit before it started.
They quit before it started. They knew that this show was going to be a disaster. This was a series that gave us kind of a budget cut version of Halo. It gave us Master Chief's ass cheeks and a full-on sex scene. And yeah, again, spoiler, Master Chief buys it and Cortana takes over his body. But weirdly enough, that version of Master Chief is a lot closer to the games than actual Master Chief. Mm-hmm. Go figure. And I'm sure season 2 is going to be even better. Even better.
Stop while you're ahead, Paramount.
Quit.
I mean, at this point, you already ruined Star Trek.
Yeah.
So just stop.
Anyway, they're not going to stop.
No, they're not, because you're dumbasses. No one's going to go around saying it's istophobia.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Finally, over 268,000 subs.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you for the support. We have been following the debacle that is the Halo TV series. No, I have not watched it at length. I've watched parts of it. I watched parts of the first episode. I have a few really good friends that are very, very big Halo fans that have been sending me clips, and they're like, oh my God.
It just kept going, getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
Just when you think it couldn't get any worse. Now, I have to give a hat tip to Chaotic Keyblade, who sent me the link to this article. We'll talk about that first, that the co-creator of Halo is like, this is not the Halo I created.
No.
That's not a ringing endorsement. That's bad. Now,
this is not the Halo you were looking for.
This is not the Halo you're looking for. And I have a feeling Obi-Wan's going to be about as good as
this, too. Yeah,
sadly,
yes.
Marcus Leto has some choice words about Paramount's Halo series. I'm not sure if it's Leto or Leto. Halo co-creator Marcus Leto has said that Paramount's show is not the Halo I made.
No shit.
Not the Halo I made. Although it set itself up to be different by putting itself on a new timeline. Yeah, that's how they try to get away with it. Like, oh, it's the multiverse. Oh, it's another time. It's what we can do whatever we want because this is an alternate retelling for today's audience.
But no one watches.
Yep, the TV series has been pretty controversial for how many changes it makes to Halo lore and how loosely it plays with established characters.
There's some loose stuff going on, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Master Chief is getting loose.
Well, I misread this other sentence talking about having him taking his helmet off constantly and giving him his own sex scene. I thought it said he was giving himself a sex scene. That's a completely different movie,
wow,
apparently.
That's how low. How low can you go? Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Yeah, so having him take his helmet off, giving him his own sex scene, something that's pretty out of character for the Chief. Being killed and taken over by Cortana, pretty out of character for the Chief. It's no surprise that most Halo fans don't like the show. And this is coming from thegamer.com. This is not coming from one of those alt-right websites, thegamer.com. Turns out that the series co-creator has been left pretty confused by it all. One fan tweeted a video essay asking who the Halo series is even for.
Good question.
Yep. And he's directing Battlefield now. He replied with, yeah, I'm not sure where the inspiration for the show comes from. Not the Halo I made. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement.
No.
When you've got people coming out and being like, that worked on the original and being like, what the fuck is this?
But then he has to backpedal and be like, well, for clarity, I never said I didn't like it. It's just so different. Well, that's kind of how it implies. Yeah, I'm not sure where the inspiration comes from because it's not the Halo I made. He doesn't like it because he doesn't want to get in trouble.
I have seen that. You have to read between the lines with a lot of these people that have worked on these things because it's a very small industry, gaming or movies or animation or whatever, and they can't come out and say, yeah, that's hot, steaming dog shit. You know?
Right. He's like, I didn't say I hate the show. Some parts are interesting, just confused by many of the choices that were made, which feel pretty far outside the core fiction I helped create, which means I hate the show. but I'm trying to say I'm covering my ass so I don't get in trouble.
I don't want to run into any of these people, or if I create something that Paramount wants to adapt someday, I don't want people to point to my tweets and be like, hey, you're the asshole that didn't like all new, all woke Halo. What's wrong with you?
Someone called him up and said, well, you better clarify that because the Paramount's pissed.
Yeah, that probably. And
well, you know what, Paramount? The fans are pissed. So, suck it up.
I'm at the point now where it's like, look, I get people have to say things or not say things, to keep their jobs or whatever, stay in the good graces. But I'm like, this is how things have gotten as bad as they are with pop culture. Because people who actually could come out and say, yeah, stop it, didn't say stop it. They just let it happen. Well, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to be the bad guy. I don't want to get canceled on Twitter.
I don't want to have my career tanked.
I don't want to, because if he said something about this show, somebody would be like, well.
People quit before it even aired. That tells me a lot there.
This told us everything we needed to know.
We didn't get a video saying, well, this is probably going to be a dog shit.
Yeah, and I'm guessing some of this was, the writer's room or Paramount being like, yeah, we got to make sure, the woman's in charge. So Bounding into Comics actually had an article on it. I did watch the segment. Yes, Cortana evaporates herself and fuses into the corpse of Master Chief.
So he's literally dead.
I guess he's a zombie. I guess. But the weird thing is it actually felt like I was watching a cutscene from one of the games because he didn't run at the mouth. He didn't take his helmet off.
For one moment, I do want to tell Bounding into Comics how much I appreciate that headline. Paramount massacres Master Chief in Halo, pulls bait and switch bigger than Kevin Smith's He-Man. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I get that reference.
Yeah, we got that.
Speaking of change for a second, speaking of Kevin Smith, apparently he's been around Disney World a bunch because they're going to be part of, MegaCon. And people were on the boards, the Disney boards, the pass holder boards and stuff, being like, oh my God, Kevin Smith, taking pictures of it. And I saw one person in the comments say about him ruining He-Man. And I was like, you and me, dude, same page, so wherever you are, I saw it.
I'm waiting for the all new, all different Clerks series to come to Disney Plus.
Honestly, though, to be fair, when they made the movie, they should have just race and gender swapped everyone. If Kevin Smith was really as progressive as he likes everybody to believe he was, his character would have been played by a black woman.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Get Leslie Jones. Kevin Smith.
That's the way. If everything has to be changed for no damn good reason, that's what they should have done to his next movie. Anyway, continue.
Bait and switch. All right, so this is coming again from Bounding into Comics. As if Master Chief's numerous helmet removals or the series' completely out of character sex scene weren't proof positive enough, the first season finale of Paramount Plus's live-action Halo TV adaptation, fanfic, has presented audiences with bait and switch twist that solidifies the fact that the once beloved and unique sci-fi series has been reduced to yet more generic Hollywood trash. They talk about, basically, look, they have a thing, he dies. Let's get down to the point where oh my God, here we go. There we go. Lying on the ground after being hit, Chief closes his eyes, and he fucking dies. Projecting an image of herself outside of the Chief's armor to mourn the loss of her partner, Cortana then proceeds to fulfill his dying wish, taking control of his Spartan 2 armor and rebooting its systems.
So his dead body's in it.
His dead body's still in it, yes. Initializing her own unique HUD within the armor's helmet, a visual confirmation that Chief is no longer in control of his body, Cortana, as Chief, launches into a vicious attack on the Covenant, sweeping through the battlefield with robotic precision as she attempts to clear a rescue path for Silver Team.
So wait, basically at the end of the day, she takes over his body and she's the one who wins.
She's the better Chief. Yes, Cortana's the better Chief. Of course, like I said, Chief's corpse is...
Told you. I didn't think it would go this way particularly, but I told you. And by the end, they're going to kill him and make it a woman.
I thought it would be the new girl, what's-her-face. I thought that
I did too, but you know what?
That'll be season 2. That'll be season 2.
Because he's clearly dead. They can't just keep running around that way.
Yeah, season 2, it'll be like... we peeled John's rotting corpse out of the armor, and now we're going to stick this young girl inside the smelly, stinky armor, and she gets to be the new Chief now with Cortana. You watch. And, she's going to be perfect at everything because Cortana's going to control.
Yeah, that's right.
Everything. Two girls. takes two girls to equal one Master Chief.
Oh, you can't say that.
You know. As the episode draws to a close, Cortana Chief is found sitting alone at the controls of the Pelican as it drifts through space, taking the co-pilot seat next to Spartan. Kai proceeds to ask her teammate, John, is that you? No, it's fucking not. Chief's death, like He-Man's, Luke Skywalker's, Jean-Luc Picard's, and so many other iconic leads in recent years is not only a forced attempt by the writer's room to inject cheap drama into the series, but also something that likely no one outside of extreme contrarians would have wanted from an adaptation of Halo.
Basically, you want to make the new hero a woman.
Isn't this kind of a metaphor for everything they're doing, though? Like, let's just kill the male lead, literally reanimate the corpse of the male lead.
But with tits.
But with tits, and then have the female replacement be better than the male.
Yeah. And I mean, look, it's insulting as a woman because I'd rather just have, why can't we just have a character that's female that maybe works with him, or that in any of these shows that, you know, they have like Rey and stuff, but they had to make sure Rey was better than Luke. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
even if you have a female character, why can't you just have a female character that's just as good and is there to be a supporter, there to, like, you know, be co-leads or something? Why do you always have to kill off the man, emasculate the man, make sure that you're better than the man, or just make your own thing that's like Halo that starred a woman?
There have been many action games.
Right.
Starring female leads. That Metroid? Where's the Bayonetta series?
Yeah.
The Bayonetta series. So yeah, they said this is the kind of abysmal writing one would expect from a show whose production team didn't look or talk about the game. Obviously.
Squid King kept bringing it up to me. He brought this up to me today about what happened, but he's like, they didn't even like play the game or anything.
They said working within the constraints of the Halo video games with, 20 some years of lore and books and comics and all this other tie-in merch wasn't serving the creative teams and their needs to express a story and build the world through their eyes.
So basically, I'll translate. Go back up. I'll translate. It means that the working within the constraints of existing lore wasn't something the creative teams wanted to do because they wanted to make all their own shit from the ground up and insert agenda. And you can't do that working within the regular lore. So through their eyes meant we just wanted to, put agenda in this shit, cause division.
Isn't that every series now though? Every movie now, every comic book. It's like these people they basically want to write their own stories.
Then go write your own damn story.
They can't because nobody will buy them, but they'll buy them if hey, this is Star Wars. Hey, this is Halo. This is, they'll buy it at first. Then the franchise burns, and then we have to get a David Zaslav to come in and be like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired.
Here's what you need to do. I can save you a lot of headaches, Paramount Plus, and, Disney and all you dumbasses out there. I'll save you a lot of money, lots of millions of dollars here. Go hire people who actually care about a franchise. If you're going to use that franchise, don't reinvent it. Don't be like, we had to have a creative team that needed to express a new story through their own eyes. No. Because no one likes it and you're losing money. Go find people who actually care about the properties and have them research the properties. Have them make a story. You can have parameters where I want these things to happen. You can do that kind of stuff. But you need to find people that actually know what the fuck they're talking about. Sorry for swearing, but I'm so sick of this shit. She-Ra, Star Wars, Star Trek, Halo. The list goes on and on. Just stop. You keep losing money. How about you just stop?
I think this is going to end eventually because again we're looking at Warner Brothers, looking at Zaslav, and looking at some other companies kind of walking things back. I think all it's going to take is for the money to run out. When the money runs out,
how has it not run out yet?
I don't know because people are subscribing. Think, oh boy, more Star Trek. Oh, look, it's Jean-Luc Picard. I like Jean-Luc Picard. And Q's coming back too. Oh my God.
Until you start watching it.
Until you start watching
what the hell is this?
I was a huge Next Gen fan. We used to watch Next Gen together. I'd sat through the entire series, Next Gen.
More than once.
Probably, in my life, 4 or 5 times, the entire series. Between, watching it when I was a kid and then watching it as a teenager in reruns and then, we watched it together when we got married. And I think I watched it after that when the kids were little. Like I'd go downstairs and try to get him to sleep and I'd watch Next Gen or Doctor Who or something like that. And I was cautiously optimistic about Picard. I watched 2 episodes. I'm like, this is freaking Blade Runner, but not nearly as good. And this is not Picard. This is not next gen. I don't
because
know what
it's
the
a
hell
bunch of
this is.
people who want to put some kind of idea, or most likely agenda. It's almost always agenda. And instead of find people, you can even get those ideas across in a way that wasn't so, ham-fisted. And you also get these ideas across in a way that you wanted and still be able to know the lore to make it work. You still could insert some of these ideas and still stick to the lore, but they don't.
Yeah, all it's going to take is for the money to run out, because frankly, the agenda and the wokeness is a luxury. It's a luxury that has to be bankrolled with money from a lot of people that aren't on board with the message. And when that runs out, then that's when these studios go back to producing content that actually wins audiences back. And that's all it's going to take. I mean, it's actually pretty simple. Choke them off from the money, choke them off from the subscriber money. If you're not into this, if you're not into Halo or what they've done to Star Trek, don't subscribe to Paramount Plus. Let it die on the vine and send a message that's like, no, this is not what we want.
Or just like if there is like something you want to watch, like you want to watch like Stranger Things, for example, and you're subscribing to Netflix, just watch those things that you want to support. Don't watch the things that you don't. And then the viewership will drop off a cliff.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. Netflix, I mean, we're seeing that, case in point, Netflix. Look at the stuff now that the money's running out, look at the stuff they're canceling. It's all the super hyper woke stuff they're canceling. They're like, yeah, we don't have the luxury of making this kind of shit. We know it's not going to perform.
Yeah, they doubled down on things like Stranger Things, Bridgerton, things that people actually want to watch. Now they're starting to bring more Korean shows over because Squid Game did so well.
Yeah.
So
and there will be an audience for it, but there was not going to be an audience, unironically, for Anti-Racist Baby, the cartoon series, which they canceled, which I don't know who the hell greenlit that.
You could see like Halo could have been a huge deal for them. And now we see what they're going to do, what Amazon's going to do Lord of the Rings. And now they're talking about they got some person on the She-Ra show, and they're all going to ruin that shit. They are. These are things that could do so much, and they're going to find a way to make it like Doctor Who, where they're just going to be pounding you over the head with agenda shit. People are going to tune out because they're like, I don't need to be lectured at. And then they're going to start yelling about istophobia. No one cares. Everybody's tired of it. Just shut the hell up and give us what we want.
Yeah, exactly. And this was so easy to get right. This one was
yes, I know.
So easy to get right. Just take the basic storyline of the first couple of games and maybe throw some stuff in from the books or the comics. And
it's a shame they had to make all this stuff up because nothing existed.
Yeah, well, it was like Star Wars too. Like, well, we don't have any backstory. We don't know. There's nothing outside the movies to pull from. But then they go and they start pulling all these expanded universe characters.
But then they're changing them.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Middle finger to you.
Yeah, anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.